So I thought I'd do a video on a particular principle that I have. Been sick for the last couple weeks, almost a month now. It's been rough. I got the flu from my kids. My kids passed it to me, and then it bounced around, and just like normal with me, it turned into bronchial pneumonia. And me being without insurance, I haven't been able to go to the doctor, which means I pretty much have to rough it and medicate myself and get plenty of rest and do a few other things that are kind of gross to make sure that I don't die. It's so fun. Anyways, with the COVID going around, it's one reason I wear a mask. I don't trust people with it because they're going to go out and then there's some people who think, oh, it's just like the flu. Well, it's a lung infection of a sort, a lung virus. Well, couple that with bronchial pneumonia, and I'm most assuredly going to end up in the hospital. And the hospitals will charge me an arm and a leg just to stay there because they are for profit. And without insurance, I'm kind of screwed. So, here is my principle. Let's get right into it. The principle is pretty simple. Don't be a bully. Seems easy enough, does it not? Well, my principle is a little bit more guided than that, because there's a second principle that I go with that, and it's the defend others who are unable or unwilling to defend themselves. And that's part 2 of Don't Be a Bully. So part 1 is rather simple. You need to define a bully. What does a bully do? They want to make other people, not necessarily, everybody thinks that they want to make another person miserable. That's entirely not the case, actually. They want to control that other person. They want to manipulate. They want to have somebody do what they want them to, marionette them, as it were. So think of it this way. Male bullies, they're easy. They will use intimidation and fear and abuse and violence, if necessary, to get somebody to do what they want them to. Intimidation is usually the biggest one. Now, when I was growing up, this did not happen from a single individual. This happened from groups, cliques, multiple groups. It didn't matter, actually. I was bullied by most of the schools that I ever went to. I seemed to be an easy target, which is kind of depressing when you think about it. But in the long run, it actually just made me stronger. Hey, thanks, phone. I'm sure glad that you can chime off right now and make sure that everybody knows that I have something that showed up on my phone. So allow me to just mute your ass. Shit brain phone. Anyways, the concept of being a bully is not that difficult from the male perspective, because the male perspective usually uses more aggressive behaviors to do what they want. Well, what about female bullies? Female bullies tend to use social pressures. They will spread rumors. They will lie. They will sometimes get aggressive and violent when that shit don't work, because you don't let other people's gossip affect you, for example. I remember in junior high, a girl kicked me in the nuts. It was great. Their excuse for kicking me in the nuts was I was a plebe or some shit like that. They called me a name of some sort, and she thought it'd be funny. She did think it was funny until I threw the desk at her for kicking me in the nuts. That got me sent to the principal's office, and long story short, she got in trouble because, kicking a guy in the nuts kind of elicits a strong, often violent response if you don't drop them first. And for some reason with me, I've always been able to weather through the pain, as it were, and all it does is piss me off, and then it hurts almost immediately afterwards. So, first reaction, knock your ass out. Second reaction is, God, I think I'm going to cough up blood. It's, yeah. I'm weird, I guess. But these stories I share for one specific reason. Bullying isn't the typical male stereotype of one boy pushes around, picks on him, beats up, and slaps, and is often violent and aggressive. Bullying can come from multiple sources. It can come from individuals to groups. And sometimes bullying comes in larger quantities, as it were. And what's amazing to me is some people think they're doing it for the betterment of mankind, the greater good. As the saying always goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, I've noticed that certain groups like to pretend that they're doing things for people and they're trying to help and benefit people. And don't you know that they're trying to save people? Don't you know that? We're trying to help someone. But in the process, you're bullying anybody that disagrees with you. If it truly was for the betterment of multiple people, as it's been said by these same people, then certainly they wouldn't need to use bully tactics to stop them. To give an example of a larger scale bullying tactic, as I like to call it. Let's say that you say things that other people don't agree with. It's not necessarily hateful, it's just your opinion. I mean, sometimes opinions can be rather repugnant, to say the least, but I can't call anything hateful because that would require me to either hate it or not hate it. And since I reserve hate for those that do the most egregious things like abuse and assault and setting fire to buildings with people in it, stuff like that, you know? Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to say that, oh, these words that are somebody's opinion on how something should be is hateful. I don't understand that concept. Not intentionally, it's thought out, because in order for something to be hateful, it must be therefore summarily directed as a subject of hate toward people. Like, why not? We could hit Godwin. If you've ever read Mein Kampf, you can tell that Hitler hated the Jews. I mean, hated them. His hateful rhetoric would be stuff that you shouldn't repeat. How's that? It's good that we have a baseline, I guess. And it's pretty egregious. So when somebody is telling me things like, because you have white privilege, you are a racist piece of shit, and therefore you need to just shut up, I find that to be hateful rhetoric. Why? Well, you're demeaning and insulting an entire swath of people based on their skin. Anybody that's white now is just a deplorable person. I also find hateful rhetoric to be maliciously intentional. That might be an interesting way to put it. That those that espouse insults like basket of deplorables are doing so to be a dick. They're being a bully. That is the kind of psychological bullying that I'm talking about. Those that espouse and tell people to shut up or change your opinion because your opinion's wrong are being bullies. Yeah, you're being a bully. I hope it feels good being that kind of a bully, being so self-righteous that you think you're in the right to be a bully. There's been those types of people for millennia. It's always been like that. And I bet it's not going to change anytime soon, because our our animalistic natures tend to not go anywhere. It's just a part of evolution. Kind of sucks. But my simple point is this. If you are cheering on others, a group maybe, silencing multiple individuals because you don't like what they say, you're a bully. You do not get to tell what somebody else can or cannot say. See, there had been a long-standing philosophical position that people should be allowed to speak freely. And this includes the social network platforms, plural, that exist today. One should be allowed to speak freely. However, those that speak freely are not entitled to your attention. So, the block button exists. I don't have to listen to you. And I've had to use it once or twice. I hate using it for the mere fact that I don't think that I should have to block somebody. I should be able to listen to them, and if they decide to be a dick, I'm going to respond. And rightly too, should I respond. I will humiliate you online all day and night. I will troll you because I can. And it really comes down to something simple. You want to be a bully? I will defend those that you are bullying. Because I don't like bullies. I've never liked bullies. If you think that everything should be your way because your way is the just and right way, yeah, other people thought that too. And they murdered lots of people thinking it while they were at it. But that's neither here nor there. First principle, easy one to tie up, I think. I'm going to do a few more of these to kind of connect my philosophy on life, because I think it's important to share. A lot of people don't know what a principle is, apparently. Like, they think hypocrisy is a principle. And I covered that in a previous video on how insane that is to believe that hypocrisy is a principle. But nonetheless, it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you next time.
Buddha will come to you. It is destined he will call you, and sooner or later you will become enlightened. Buddha be praised.